Okay guys, Pavel Krastev here, New Hyde Park, New York. We just extracted tooth number 10, a lateral incisor that was severely decayed. We have a very extended long root, and we're planning to put a 3.7 by 13 implant. And what we need to do in this case is engage the lingual plate in order to stabilize the implant. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be using the VGO kit by Helmut Zepf, and we'll be using the anterior kit, as you guys can see. And I'm going to use one of our marking tips to put a marking dot on the lingual wall of the socket, because if I just try to drill it, the drills will slide away. So I will initiate the osteotomy with the very slim tip, and then we're going to proceed with the VGO system. Thank you. Now let's put this away. Can you hold this by any chance also or no? Perfect, like this. And I'm going to just suction a bit. We have an excellent patient. So this is the marking tip. Okay. So we're usually going to give a very gentle mallet. I just want to start the dot, then I'm going to correct the angulation. If you guys notice right now I'm way positioned too much to the buccal with the instrument handle. So this is just to initiate it. And now we are to about 16 here, no, to 13. So we'll go a little more than, we'll go past 13 because I plan to put it a little bit deeper in, below the crest. Now I'm being very parallel here. However, like I said, I will correct the angulation momentarily. So I took it to almost 16 because I plan to countersink the implant because it's an immediate placement. Now I'm going to be proceeding with tip number 0. This is the first tip of the series. And this is a 1-2 taper. And this is the initial tip. Once again, tip 0. Now my assistant and myself have our 10-year anniversary today. But we're working. So can we engage? Yeah, that's the question. I'd like to engage, and then we'll proceed with the angle correction. In some cases, if the instrument resist would be driven in, then I use a pilot drill just like conventionally, so you don't force it. Now I'm just rotating. So we reach the 13, we're passing it now by, I'm going to go to about 15 here. We have the vertical height above the root. So as I said, I plan to countersink. So now I'm almost down to 16. Exactly 16. Back it out. When we back out these instruments, folks, we only rotate. I'm supporting the handle, as you guys can see. And now we're going to use the second tip of the series. Let's show it. So this has a 1-3 taper, and this is a delta 2 instrument because 3 minus 1 equals to 2. So this is a delta 2 instrument, and the delta 2 instrument will only dilate the crestal portion, and it's more aggressive than a delta 1 instrument. So we use this instrument a little bit more slowly. So I'm going to go in the same place that we started. So we're approaching 13. We're going to pass 13, and I also will take it down to about 15, 16, since I want to countersink. If my lovely assistant can show, the buckle plate is slightly compromised in this case. We have a little dehiscence here. Okay. Let me just retract a little more so that our audience can see better. I'm just going to open a little more here so I can show. So we have a little dehiscence here, and we have a little bit of a crack in the buckle plate there. Now the instrument is expanding. It's going in relatively easy. So the bone, I would say, is probably about type 3 here. Rotated right out.
Any discomfort?
Now I'm going to be using tip number 2. This is the third tip in the series because we start with tip 0. So tip 0, tip 1, tip 2. We're up to tip 2, and this, as you can see the dot here, this is a delta 1 instrument, and this will dilate only the deep bone. So before we use it, let's check the osteotomy, how it's forming. Good. Now as I'm proceeding, I'm starting to correct the angular situation, because when we started I wanted to just mark the lingual plate, but now as I proceed, if you notice, I'm bringing the instrument more lingual so that we accomplish proper parallelism. Now let the instrument expand a bit. Let's see what's going on here. All looks pretty good. Nice and slowly. I like to work slowly and give the bone a chance to expand. And now I'm going to use the last instrument for the 3/7 implant. So it turns out that for the 3/7 implant, the third tip, tip number 3, which in essence is the fourth tip, is the final for a 3/7 size implant. Let's see where my assistant put that tip. Where is the last one? Back in the tray. Okay. So right now we're up to the last tip for the 3/7 implant, which is a 2-4 taper. So it's 2 at the apex and 4 at the base. This once again is a delta 2 instrument because 4 minus 2 equals to 2. So a delta 2 instrument will expand the crestal portion of bone. And once again, this should be the last instrument for the 3/7. Let's clean up a bit. Please retract here and hold the retractor on bone. Maria, please don't move. otherwise, in most cases, I always instruct my patients that if we cannot get excellent primary stability or sufficient primary stability, then I just graft the case and come back in 4 months. So now I'm going to proceed to 13 and a little bit past 13. Now I'm getting pretty good resistance here. I'm going to go very slowly. I'll take this to about 15. And let's clean up the surgical view for you guys. So now I'm at about 12, 13. Let's go a little more. No, 13 and a half, 14. I'm about 14 now. Go a bit more. I think that's fine. And then I'm going to open the implant. So what I'm going to do, folks, before I actually place the implant, I'm going to take one PA to make sure that I'm very satisfied with the angular component of the surgery. And then I'm going to demonstrate in a situation like this where we have a large socket. What I like to do before I actually drive the implant in, I like to graft the buccal area, essentially fill the excess void here that will be created with bone, and then put my implant in, and I'll demonstrate that shortly after we see a periapical film. So we'll see you guys in about 2-3 minutes.